We've had women customers literally reply that they are now comfortable with their man giving them a mustache ride.
All right.
I mean, that's true. We point to it. Hey razor haters, Anthony from LiT Beard Co., Wisconsin-based, veteran-owned beard company. So I put together some packages of our best products. How do I know that they're our best products? Not only because I know what you guys are ordering, but because what you guys tell me works best for your beard. So I put them all together on one page. Samples, oils, balms, washes, brushes, everything your beard needs to look and smell its best. We've got your Wisco Whiskey Oil and Balm here. It's inspired by my favorite supper club drink here in Wisconsin, a whiskey old fashioned sweet. So it smells like oak, vanilla, cherry, got a little bit of spiciness to it, right? And what's this on top? It's wax dip. I wax dip every oil that I make. Not only does it make it look cool, it actually seals in the freshness. So
the fresh maker.
And I've got 3 packages put together for you. You can get your oil, and balm. And this balm, not only, oh my God, does it smell awesome, it looks awesome. It's gonna give that beard just a little bit of hold so you can style it up. Or you can get your oil, balm, and your F razors, brewed in Wisconsin, LiT Beard Co. t-shirt. Printed by my buddy Charles out in Kingman, Arizona, fellow veteran. And I put together a collection of our most popular oils in samples, so you can get them as individuals or as a 5-pack sample. What do these things smell like? We've got everything from woody and smoky, through floral, through classic, scents like tea tree, through unscented. We've got that ready for you. We've got beard brushes, boar hair beard brushes ready to go, so you can make sure that when you put that oil or balm in your beard, you can get it all spread out evenly and coated through. We've got our unscented beard wash. Why is that important? Well, if you're like me, I've got to wear a mask all day for work, so I'm just constantly breathing basically into my beard. This cleansing beard wash strips all that gunk and junk out of my beard, gets it ready for a proper oil and balm coating. So I've made it simple and easy for you. I've put all of this on one page, the absolute best of the best that you and your beard could want. And there's an extra special thing that happens every time that you buy from LiT. $1 is donated to Project Welcome Home troops. As a veteran and veteran-owned business, it's super important to me to support veterans and their families, and that's why every purchase results in a $1 donation to help veterans and their families. I'm Anthony from LiT Beard Co., Wisconsin-based, veteran-owned beard company. Stay bearded and fuck razors.
Shit crazy, smoke to get my mind right, chillin', trying to get my grind right, fight for a spit, smoke just to chill, waiting on.
What's up, guys? Sergeant G here from the Stone Vet USMC. Happy Friday, man. It's been a long week. Hopefully for you guys, not too long. Hopefully if it's been stressful, whatever, I'm able to bring you some relaxation, some nonsense, and some crazy nonsense, Marine Corps mentality talking, veteran trash talking, as you could say, with the Trash Talk brothers that I've teamed up with on every Wednesday. I'm glad you guys are here to enjoy this time with me today, man. Getting through it, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the weeks can be hard, man. Sometimes they can be hard, and sometimes, hey, man, shit, this is quick. It's a quick week. Like, I didn't even realize that it's already Friday, man. I'm glad you guys are here hanging out with me on this Friday. If you're able to watch the YouTube channel, like I always say, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, man. I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors, Rafa 180, man. Like I tell you guys, if you guys are looking for a medicinal grade CBD product, Rafa 180 is the way to go, man. Coming from the only FDA regulated lab out of the Midwest. Best CBD product you can find. And guess what? It's 100% THC free. Some of you guys and some of you gals know that, hey, my job don't let me have THC for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Because it's still federally illegal. I swear that nonsense, dude, with the crazy nonsense going out, you know. Seriously, it's cannabis. It's a plant. It's a plant. Let it be. Let's go ahead and legalize it. So guess what? Sergeant G on the Stone Vet can actually stand up to his name and actually roll a fat one and hang out with my brothers and sisters, man. I got the honor of bringing Anthony from LiT Beard Company. He's an Army veteran. He's an Army reservist, should I say. You know how you guys think about them reservists. You know how it is, Anthony, with them National Guards guys. We give them a little bit of hard time because they only do it part-time. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, man. Like I said, you came across my Facebook news feed, and I was like, "Who is this veteran? This veteran that owns a beard? You know me. I got me a nice little beard. I got a beard. I got to take care of it. I always make sure I get the good oil in and a good balm in, and make sure it stays in place and stuff." And it came across LiT Beard Company, veteran owned and operated. I said, let me check this guy out. I got to support my brothers, right? That's what we're supposed to do, support our brothers and sisters on a regular basis, regardless of whatever our industry is in. If we don't need it, at least send the word out to somebody that could use their business, And Anthony here got in the beard industry, man. I love the product. Wisco whiskey right now, I gotta say, is my number one. But you got some new products coming out, and I was like, man, I gotta get some more products, man. I gotta go buy more products, man. But Anthony here,
I appreciate it.
No,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it. That Wisco whiskey, that's actually my favorite. I've got it in my beard right now too. Yeah, of course, that LiT Beard Company. You're gonna see our ads on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, all over the place. I try to be goofy, I try to be funny, but yeah, man, it's bottom line, it's great beard oil, beard balm, beard washes, all that good stuff for your face.
It's great products, man. It's great products, man. But he said, Anthony, I thought he said he was an Army infantry guy. So I was thinking 11 Bang Bang, right? He said, nah, he's 11 Charlie. I guess he's better than a Bravo, is what he was telling me.
No, gotta be a Bravo on top. So yeah, I was a mortarman, right? It was funny when I was going to basic training. My recruiter, I was going to be an 11 Bravo, and I wanted to go to basic around the same time as my buddy. And he was like, well, the only way that we're going to be able to do that is if you go, and you become an 11 Charlie. It's basically the same thing. You got to do some mortar stuff too, but it's basically the exact same thing. I said, okay, whatever, let's do that. And so that's kind of like the same experience a lot of, guys and girls have when they go to a recruiter. And I'm not trying to say recruiters bullshit you, but they're like, oh, it's no different. Just sure, it's the same shit. Like, just go ahead and do this. Like, okay. Like, all right, cool.
Oh, we all know how horrible them recruiters can be, man. They bullshit your way. They'll bullshit you through anything just to get you signed up. They gotta get their quota for the month.
Well, the one thing I will say is people ask me all the time, like, hey, if I was interested in joining the military, or if your kids were interested in joining the military, would you, tell people to do it? And I'd say, hell yeah. I mean, being in the military is great. It gives you good opportunities. I think, everybody should do something of service, whether it's join the Peace Corps, join the military, do something to serve their community, their country, stuff like that. But the one thing I would do, and it's not because I think they're shady, but it's like, if you want to go sign up, take a veteran with you to your local recruiting office, because they can walk you through. I mean, straight up, they'll tell you,
right?
Like, oh yeah, you want to go to airborne? And they say, oh yeah, all you got to do is just score really well on your PT. You'll go. Is it in your contract? Then you're not going. Like, you just have somebody there to walk you through and kind of cut through some of the nonsense and bullshit and stuff like that and kind of fact check it for you. But yeah, I mean, I think it was awesome. Like, I was happy to do it. I loved being in the infantry. If somebody said to me, would you do it today? I'm 38 years old, man. I don't really think I could hop back in now, but in any way, shape, or form. But maybe I could be like a drone operator. I feel like I could
something, right?
sit at a desk and drink my Coke and be in the AC.
Absolutely. No, I know what you mean. I like I said, I did 9 years, and I was a engineer. So anytime the grunts went out, the engineers had to go out to support the grunts so they could play in the dirt. And so we're always out there working on equipment or running equipment or whatever the case may be, just to get the experience down before deployments and stuff like that. So I definitely, I know what you mean. I mean, being 38 years old, it's like, nah, dude. And I don't think there ain't no way I can get my ass up every morning, go out there and keep doing the same shit I was doing when I was 19. I joined when I was 17, so just to be like, hell no, there ain't no damn way. Like you saying, there's no way to get back in there. But you was telling me earlier that you wanted to be a Marine yourself.
I did. Yeah, I was telling you, like, so my grandfather was a Marine. I mean, obviously a lot of people that join the military, if you ask them why, they'll tell you, well, I wanted to go to college, or, my dad was, or my brother was, or whatever. So I definitely had people in my family that joined, and my grandpa I have a lot of respect for my grandpa. He was in the Marines. So I wanted to do that delayed entry program where you can enlist when you're 17, go to basic, come back, do your senior year of high school, go to prom, play football, do whatever you do, and then go. And so when I was 16, I just went into a recruiting office. Obviously I can't enlist, but I want to get to that point where I know what I want to do. And I thought the recruiter was going to tell me all this cool shit, like, you'll shoot these guns and you'll go to these countries and you'll see all these beautiful women and you'll be able to do this, that, and whatever. all they did was talk to me about how the Marine Corps was just going to beat my ass and I was just going to be like miserable all the time, you know, and I was just like, this
I
does
don't want to do
not
that
sound
shit.
fun at all. And so I was just like, man, the one thing that kept me, I think, from being a Marine was just shit ass recruiter who just like did not sell me on it at all.
Oh no shit! Oh, he was. I mean, he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying, but I guess he had already met his numbers for the month, so he wasn't worried about it.
Yeah. So
But
he's
I
just like,
mean,
oh, whatever. I'll just tell this 16-year-old idiot straight to his face, like we're just gonna make your life painful.
no shit. Yeah, because for me, like me, I was a trouble kid. I was a troubled youth. I dropped out of high school when I was 15. You know, I dropped out of high school. I went to a Thunderbird Academy here, ran by the Oklahoma National Guard runs it, just so I can get my GED.
Okay.
Because I was like, I gotta get a GED, you know. But that's like it was a
Sure.
6-month boot camp, is what it was. It was 6 months of boot camp. And I met my now wife. I met her while I was on leave. They gave me a little vacation, a weekend vacation. So I came back home and I met her. And I finished that. I graduated from there. And then motherfucking Marine Corps recruiters kept knocking on my fucking door. Hey, you want to join the Corps? I said, hell no, I don't want to join the Corps, dude. I just spent 6 months in boot camp here. And I was like, hell no, I don't want to do that shit. Sure enough, they fucking knocked on my door one final time. And I was like, sign my ass up. I got to get the hell out of where I'm at. Because for us enlisted guys, I mean, for us enlisted guys, a lot of times we're just like, we got to get out of where the hell we're at. We need something better. We need to do something more. We need to go see the world, right? What you were expecting the Marine Corps would tell you is, you want to go see the world? We'll go take you to see the world, you know? And so that's what I joined it. I was like, I got to get out of here. Like I couldn't be living here. I mean, I grew up impoverished, you know, didn't have both my parents split up when I was 11 years old. And, you know, so I didn't have anything. I didn't have both my parents or anything. I was like, I got to do something more than this. There's got to be more than this. A lot of guys are just slanging drugs and just doing whatever the hell they want. And, you know, for me, I was like, I got to get out of here. And that's what I told my wife. I was like, we got to get out of here. Like, we can't stay here. There's no way we can stay here in this community because we just going to end up like everybody else. And that's the last thing we want to do is end up like everybody else. We want to be more and be bigger, you know? So I went active duty, you know? And so that's what I did. And you being a reservist, you said you was in college before you decided to sign up with the National Guard. Is that right?
Yeah. So my first week of college was a 9/11 attack. So it was either week 1 or week 2, very early into my freshman year. And I had already obviously been thinking about joining the military at different points in my life. And so that kind of tipped it for me. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this.
Right.
I'll finish my freshman year and then I'll enlist. And so that year I started seeing recruiters and stuff, but I wanted to make sure that I finished school. So many people would tell me like, well, once you start college, if you stop, it's almost impossible to get back in because then you get married, you have kids, you get a job, like you're never going to finish it. And so I wanted to finish it. So I was like, well, look, maybe I can do kind of like the National Guard thing, finish college, get that paid for, and then, you know, be in the military full time if I want to after or whatever. But at least then I'll have some military service, you know, I'll be able to do that and get my education. But I mean, you and I were enlisted at the same time. So there was a lot of opportunities to, you know, go around the world and stay busy. And so even though I was, you know, in the National Guard, I volunteered for 2 different deployments. My unit in Wisconsin wasn't deploying. I volunteered and I got put with a brigade from Louisiana. I did that for a year or so, that deployment was, and I came back for a year and a half. And I remember, maybe you have the same experience, when you deploy and you come back, whether you're still active duty or National Guard or whatever, you find that even though it sucks to deploy, you'll be like, man, if I was just like deployed, you know, like, or you start itching to do that stuff. I remember it was snow blowing. It was like winter time, winter of 2007, early, like January or February or whatever. And I was just like, damn it. Like, I can't stand this shit anymore. Like, I can't stand like being here. I can't stand doing this stuff. And I feel like just even in that year and a half of being home, it was just too much. And so, yeah, I mean, I was able to volunteer again and I deployed, you know, a second time and then got out in the fall of 2008, went back, finished school, you know, got everything squared away. And that's kind of the long and short of that. A lot happened in between those years. But yeah, that's kind of how I did that.
No, and absolutely. I mean, it is true. I mean, for a lot of people who do go to college, a lot of times, like if you take a break or whatever the case may be, it is a little bit harder to get back into that college mentality. I mean, that's a whole different mentality to have. I mean, I went through, like I said, I got out of the Marine Corps in 2009, and then like I went to college because I started seeing what the people were bringing home from the GI Bill, and I was like, damn, you're making that much money to go sit in class? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, shit, I need money. Let me go sit in class so I can get some money. You know what I'm saying? I was getting, and it's a pretty good stipend because I was hurting at the time. And I was like, man, but that mentality of sitting in class, it's just like sitting with all these civilians that are just like, you know, they're like, oh, you're a veteran? I'm like, yeah, you know, and they get pissed. The teachers get upset with you when you start rebuttaling with their idea, their ideas and how they think in their mindset. I said, that's wrong. You know, like, you can't think like that. Like, let me tell you why you can't think like that, you know?
One thing that I recognized almost immediately was, so I know that there's not a lot of years difference between, you know, a 21-year-old and a 22-year-old, or a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old, but there can be a lifetime of living experience that separates you. So what I started to notice is, like, when I came back, because I tried to go back to school right away, was that even though I wasn't, you know, that much older than a lot of the people I went to school with, experience wise, or like life living wise, it was like, you know,
night and day.
Oh my God. And so I mean, I'm sure you'll have this exact same experience. I remember they had an assignment where it was like, you have to write some bullshit. It was like 2 pages to reflect on this thing that you need to read on. And they were like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. This is so much work. And I was like, so much work? I'm like, you knock this shit out in 15 minutes. Like, what are you talking about? The way in which my classmates were seeing the world and the way in which I was seeing it, it was so different. So to your point, like the way that a professor might say something, or a TA, and you're like, well, you're just looking at it through like an academic lens. I'm looking at this completely differently. I found that I just saw the world very differently than even those that I was spending most of my day with, you know?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, that's one of the biggest struggles us as veterans that we do have, is that work life experience, dude. Like for us, I mean, we didn't punch a clock. It wasn't a 9 to 5. We were punching a clock or anything like that. I mean, but when you serving, regardless if you're reservist or active duty, when you serving, dude, it's like your mentality, your work life, the way your work and life is when you're serving in the military. It's way different than these people who are going to work flipping burgers or sit behind a desk all day, you know, like you're training, like you're always training. You know what I'm saying? You're training, you got to do, like in the Marine Corps, you got McMap. So you're learning how to fight, you're learning how to grapple, you're learning how to take somebody's life, you know, or you're doing your MCIs and you're learning how to work on equipment, or you're learning principles and integrity and all this other stuff. They're teaching you this stuff, and you're learning because it's a way of life. It's your mentality and what you got to do. But like if you go to work doing a 9 to 5, you're going to do a job, you know. And like me as a civilian right now, I work for the Air Force as a civilian. My son always asks me, he's like, how's your day? I said, it's a job. I go in to punch a clock and I come home. You know what I'm saying? There's no goals. There's no mission. I go to work and I come home. It's just plain and simple, dude. That's just all it is, you know? I said, unlike in the military, where you had a goal, you had missions, you had things you had to meet in order for the mission to continue pushing forward, you know, regardless if you're getting ready to help people who are deploying or people who are already deployed, you got to make sure that the equipment is prepared for them to ship to them so they have it while they're deployed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's one of the struggles that we do have. Like you said, you're sitting in college, just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, it's gonna take you how long to write a 2-page paper on life? Like, I can knock that out real quick. You know?
Well, and even sometimes too, like the friends that you had, like you were talking about growing up where you grew up and stuff like that. You know, you come and you have these experiences and you rally back up with your buddies and stuff, and you know, you've got years of experience together, seeing and doing the same stuff, but now all of a sudden you find you don't look at things the same way at all. I remember I was in Iraq, my first deployment. I called one of my buddies, and just by chance, like 4 of our other friends were over, and they were getting ready to go out that night. They were going to go out to the bars and stuff like that. And so they're passing the phone around and stuff, but I can hear in the background, they're trying to figure out like their game plan for the night. And like one dude's like, well, let's go here because they've got cheaper drinks. And the other dude's like, well, let's go here because the chicks are always hotter and whatever. And it's like, man, these dudes right now, like this is their life. And in like 4 hours, I'm going out on patrol. Like how different our lives were becoming, even like in real time together.
Right.
We're buddies. We still know all the same people, still know all the same places, but like how divergent everything is becoming. And so, you know, even now I find like you and I sitting here talking together, we have a lot of these shared experiences, even though we've never met,
right.
You know, never really spoken before today and stuff like that. But we understand it. It's like, oh shit, yeah, man, I remember having that conversation or feeling that way or being warned about, you know, that or whatever. And it all, you know, it's like the military teaches us, like, you're not a unique snowflake. Like nobody gives a shit about you, you know, except your mom and dad. And even then sometimes they don't really give a shit about you either. Like, yeah.
Oh no shit! No, you're right, because I mean it's like you said, nobody cares about you. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna take care of yourself? What are you gonna do to better prepare yourself for this life that we live in right now? You know, and that it is a struggle. It sucks because you're just like, damn, this sucks, dude. Like, you know, the life experiences you get. You know, a lot of people ask me, they said, "Do you miss the Corps?" I said, I said, I don't miss my Corps. I don't miss the Corps. I love the Corps, but I don't miss it. I miss my brothers and my sisters. That's what I miss. Yeah. I miss waking up and having them. They're always there. They're always there with me every day. They're always with me, no matter what base I was stationed at or where I was at or where I was getting ready to deploy. I miss those guys. I miss my brothers and my sisters to my left and to my right, because I could just be like, hey, come here. Let's go take care of this. Let's go do this. Hey, I need to talk to you about something real quick. I need to do this. Or I need to do that. You know, and that struggle, that camaraderie is lost when you get out of service. You know, that's the biggest part. And it's even harder. I mean, even as a civilian, getting out and being out of service is hard because we all have our own lives. We got our wives, we got our kids, we got our jobs, we got houses, we got this, we got that, we got this. And sometimes we forget, hey, I do need to reach out to my brother and my sister, see how they're doing. Make sure they're doing okay today. Make sure that everything's going good with them. You know, and that's one of the things I always try to stress to my community here. Is that, hey, have you picked up the phone to reach out to somebody? Have you seen, hey, are you okay, man? I just had a moment and I just wanted to reach out to you, make sure you're doing okay, make sure you're doing good, you know. Hey, I miss you. I miss you. I mean, we need to sit down and talk. We need to talk at some time. We need to do something. That's why I love doing the show, because I get to bring on brothers like you. And I can, this is my anxiety. This is my therapy session. So I can sit around and be like, damn, I feel good now. You know what I'm saying? I said, because the VA, all they're going to do is keep shoving antidepressants and all this other shit into our bodies to say, okay, you guys need to forget about it. Here's another pill. That ain't working. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one, you know? And that's why I go to cannabis. But right now I'm dealing with some shit at work right now. And so they're drug testing me every 2 weeks. So I was like, I can't even smoke weed because I want to, you know, I can't even do that right now because they drug tested me every 2 weeks. So I was like, my time will come back to where I can go back to smoking cannabis again, because I love the medicinal benefits that cannabis has for me, you know, for myself. And I've teamed up with like Veteran Action Council and Brian Buckley, who has these research projects going on to inform the Veteran Health Administration, to inform the Senate, saying, hey, look, you guys need to legalize this because here's the medicinal benefits. Here are the studies that have been done on it. And
well, sure. And even, I mean, there's like back in the day, it was all anecdotal, right? It would just be guys or girls being like, well, this stuff helps me sleep, or this helps me feel better, or I feel more comfortable. Well, now you've got universities that have been studying this. You've got people that have like, studies into psilocybin or different, just different substances, even beyond pot, right?
Right.
Where they say like, look, we can look at psychedelics and their effect on veterans, dealing with post-traumatic stress, things like ecstasy, whatever it might be. You now have universities saying, okay, here's empirical data. You don't have to like it morally. You don't have to like it politically, but you can't refute what this is saying, which is here's some people and here's some people and here's their, experiences. This is what it is. And so I think, you brought up the VA, right?
Yeah.
So you said that you live in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Okay. So Oklahoma has some active duty facilities. Where I live here in Wisconsin, it doesn't really, right? Wisconsin is more of a National Guard and Reserve stay at their, you know, we don't have big bases like a Texas or a Florida or like a, you know, Oklahoma and stuff like that. So the VA here, when I got out of the military and would go to the VA for services, was primarily dealing with Vietnam, Korean War, Gulf War, kind of older generation of veterans. And so then when guys like our age would start going to the VA, especially in a state like Wisconsin, where there wasn't a big active duty presence and you just have guys and girls from around the communities kind of interspersed, they had a completely different set of, how do I put this, like resources to help veterans our age. And so if you went in there and said like, well, I'm having, you know, mental health issues, or I'm having problems sleeping, they would kind of treat you in the same way that they would, you know, veterans at that time or older vets, like here's some Ambien, you know, or we can kind of talk to you, or, you know, whatever it might be. But if you said to them like, well, what about like veteran to veteran, like kind of peer-to-peer stuff? No, there's no evidence. What about equine therapy or therapy dogs or whatever? No, there's no evidence. So what's ended up happening is so many veterans have advocated for themselves, whether it's about pot or a therapy dog or, you know, fly fishing or any number of different ways to kind of treat and address their stress, their anxiety, their addictions, etc., that the VA has found nonprofits and university partners bringing evidence to them to say like, nope, here you go. And now the VA's kind of turned a little bit. I mean, a room here and have this veteran meditation session. They'd laugh your ass right out of the building. And then with every visit being different, you might have one area of the country where that VA director says, okay, sure, come on in. We'd love to have this community-based agency come in. The next visit over, they'd be like, hell no. No, because they weren't willing to take a risk that if it went poorly, that they might lose their job, you know, as a result. So to the VA's credit, they are starting, you know, slowly because they're massive government bureaucracy, but they have taken on some new things, but it's really hit and miss. And so I do agree with you that if it's, you know, if it's about pot, you know, if you want to smoke weed or whatever, look, man, don't harm yourself. Don't harm innocent people. Don't harm other people's property. Who gives a shit?
Right.
You want to sit, you want to chill in the house and smoke a joint, you know, do what, fucking go for it.
Go for it.
Just don't be a shithead to other people, you know, just be a good person.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that because it's just a simple fact. It's just like, I think us as veterans is like, you do you, and don't bother what I'm doing. Don't mess with what I'm doing. Let me be me. Let me take care of me. Let me take care of myself. And don't try to push your beliefs off on me. You know what I'm saying? You want to believe it, you believe what you want to believe in. I'm not gonna say you're right. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. You believe what you want to believe in, but don't try to push those beliefs off on me because I'm gonna argue with you and we're gonna go back and forth about it, you know. But that's what I'm saying. One of the things, you know what I'm saying, like that's how we are as veterans, is that, you know, we got each other's back, but don't push your beliefs on me and I'm not gonna push my beliefs on you. I'm just gonna tell you what I believe in. And you can tell me what you believe in, but I'm not going to argue with you because you're not wrong. That's your beliefs. You know what I'm saying? That's your beliefs. You want to believe in that? You can believe in that.
Make sure that we help.
You know, for you, when you got out, so you got out back in what, 2008, you said?
Yeah. Yep.
How was that transition for you? I know being a reservist, it can be a little bit different. I mean, I had Linda on here not too long ago, and she's a reservist here. She's in the National Guard here in Oklahoma as well. And she said her transition was shit. How was it for you coming back from it as a serving as a reservist?
Yeah.
Now, how was that transition for you?
So, well, let's look at it this way. I came back from Iraq the first time in 2005. So there was a transition of like first time coming home, needing to I had been married for a month prior to me leaving. So I got married and a month later I deployed and I was gone for, 14 months or 15 months or whatever.
Right.
Came home, and then I had a year and a half of being home. And then I volunteered and I went back over. And when I got done, then I was out, right? So I kind of had like the homecoming transition of first deployment, the homecoming transition of second deployment, and then okay, I'm out, my contract is up. I don't have to worry about getting pulled or deployed or anything anymore. I'll say that my first coming home the first time everything was pretty good for the first several months, because then I got to see like all my buddies, and I got to do like what, like a 22-year-old does, you go out and you're drinking and you're hanging out and stuff. But then I would start to realize like I was having problems sleeping. And I would also recognize that the only emotions that I ever felt or demonstrated were either completely neutral or completely pissed off. Like there was no like build up to like, oh, I guess I'm kind of upset. It was like Anthony's just fine or he's fucking irate.
My wife just told me that shit. She's like, you go from like 0 to pissed off in a matter of seconds. Like there's no in between. Yeah.
Nope, there was no in between. And then on top of it, I couldn't even identify that that's what it was. So let me give you for instance. If all of a sudden you saw me be super pissed, I couldn't tell you like, well, I'm not angry. I'm just frustrated. Like I didn't know how to identify what I was actually feeling. So I'd just be like, I'm fucking pissed. And I would just be really angry. And I noticed that I was angriest and most shitty to those that I would like, my wife and my mom and my dad and my sister, like those that it would have been hardest for them to not have a relationship with me. Like I was fine, I guess, with my coworkers and my friends because they could always tell me to go fucking pound sand.
Right.
So I didn't really want to piss them off. So like I might get angry with them, but I would hold back. But on like other people, maybe I just wouldn't talk to them for like 5 days.
Right.
Like I'd be so angry, I'd just be like, I don't care, like just don't talk to me. Or I would go and maybe play video game. I'd go to work or I'd go to school because I re-enrolled in college, stuff like that.
Right.
But I could go and do those things well. But then as soon as I got home, like in my personal life, it wasn't very good. I just felt like I didn't quite fit. Even my friends that hadn't served, we didn't see like we were talking about before, we didn't see the world the same way.
Right.
So whether it was something we saw on TV or the Iraq war was still very much going on. So I would see it on the news and read about it, and that stuff would piss me off. And I didn't understand why we were doing what we were doing and stuff. And so I think the transition home, I was lucky in that I had a family, and I had people that loved me and cared about me and stuff. And so I didn't get, where I was just coming home to nothing. But I feel like a lot of the problems that I did have, I didn't really know how to communicate a need for somebody to help me. And I didn't really want to ask anybody to help me because that whole deployed mentality of like, you don't want to look or display any sort of weakness or need that, fucking, write him off. So you just, you suck it up, right? You drink water, drive, like type bullshit, right? So it was tough. I mean, it took me a long time. And so I would try different stuff. I'd see a counselor, stuff like that. Or I'd try to talk with friends. The thing that helped me most, quite honestly, was talking with other veterans.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Found a nonprofit in Milwaukee that helped veterans if they were struggling and stuff like that. And I started working with them. And like I was saying to you before, the group of veterans that helped me most were Vietnam veterans. And that's one of probably the only cool parts about getting older, is when you start to kind of like mentor younger dudes, you can just remind them that, again, like you're not inherently special. And the only people that love you are your mom and dad and your kids and stuff. But there's nothing unique that's going to keep you from following the same path that I've, took. Right. So these Vietnam veterans, they'd be like, you want to see what your future is if you don't, finish school or get a good job or whatever, like, here's what your future is going to look like. And so talking with them helped me and helped me recognize like, okay, I need to try to figure some stuff out. And so like I told you then, another Iraq vet, we walked from Milwaukee to LA to help one another and try to raise awareness of what was happening to veterans and their families when they came home and help, veteran nonprofit and stuff like that. So I tried my best. I tried my best to work on myself. But while I was doing that, try to help people around me.
which is a great story. Now you saying that's on Amazon Prime now, right? Your
Yeah.
documentary that you and
Yeah.
your brother did.
Yeah. So it's called Almost Sunrise. And that film, when Tom and I decided to walk to California, there was not going to be any film. What happened, funny enough, was I was involved in a study at the University of Wisconsin in which they were studying combat veterans. And after they'd put you in an MRI tube for a couple hours at a time, and you'd look at clocks. And if the clock was like yellow, maybe you wouldn't be shocked. And if the clock was blue, you wouldn't be. So you would look at the clock, and if it was yellow, they would look at your brain waves of like, oh, I might get shocked when it ticks down. And they would look and see how your brain reacted to a threat. Well, when you were done with that study, they taught us this mindfulness and this meditation. And so a guy came and interviewed me after the fact. And when my buddy and I decided to walk to California, we put like a website up and whatever. And by chance, this guy came up on this website and he was like, well, holy shit, I know Anthony. Like, I interviewed him, I've got his phone number, I've got his email address. And this guy was a documentary filmmaker. So he put together a team, and they followed Tom and I as we walked across the country and told the story about the walk, but also met with a lot of veterans and anthropologists and doctors that study veterans to talk about moral injury and post-traumatic stress and the issues impacting veterans and their families. So it was a good way to get back out in the world and stop isolating yourself, but at the same time, try to help a lot of people along the way.
But yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's about, is supporting each other and figure out what is it that I can do now, like what is it that I can do that I can get out, man. And doing you being able to do that and show, hey, look, dude, let's do this because I care about my brothers, I care about my sisters. I need to make sure that they know that, hey, we are here and we do care about them, regardless of how hard life is right now. Because life can be hard, life can be stressful, life can be hard. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, it's finances being one of the top ones, and then your relationships and everything else. That's one of the biggest things that sucks, is that when you're serving, like you said, when you deployed, you had your brothers and your sisters there to your left and to your right, and they were always there every day, 24/7. They were there with you while you was deployed, and so they never felt like they were alone or they were lost. And now that you've gotten out, it's like, fuck, my brother ain't there. I don't want to pick up the phone and call him and stress him over what I got going on in my life.
So I think one of the biggest pitfalls that we find ourselves with is when problems come up. You don't have to be confrontational, as a person to be willing to confront your issues. And so oftentimes I think we try to distract ourselves or kid ourselves that something that's a problem isn't a problem or isn't as big of a problem. And so we end up pushing those things off. And like I said, we were talking earlier about kind of like veteran suicide. And say like, well, veterans our age, guys that served in Iraq and Afghanistan, when we were coming back and they're like, wow, 22 veterans a day, it's all these young guys. It's like, well, statistically, it was actually a lot of the older people, because they would come home and they would be young guys like us, but they would have kids and they would have careers and they would, use their GI Bill to graduate from college and go get a job. And then 30, 40 years down the line, their kids are, grown up and moved out and their careers are over and they're retired. And now all of a sudden, all these problems that they haven't talked to anybody about or addressed, or they've distracted themselves with bullshit, now all of a sudden they come back and it overwhelms them. And so I think this ability to kind of talk about these things, you don't have to walk across the country, but
Right.
you do have to be somebody that can be there, to your point, for somebody you served with, or even if you didn't serve with them, just somebody that you can relate to and be like, all right, tell me your story, just sit there and listen. I think veterans fear judgment. They fear being judged for the things that they did or that they didn't do. And so I think sometimes they're hesitant to tell the story about what's wrong with them because they fear being judged as weak, or something like that, and so they don't want to say what's up. And so I think sometimes just listening and letting somebody know, like, look, man, I'm not going to judge you. You just say what you got to say. If I can relate, I will. But at the minimum, you just get off your chest what you need to get off.
Absolutely.
It's okay. And I think that really helps a lot of people kind of get to a point where they'll feel comfortable and build that trust and tell their story and say what they need.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I was stressing my community. That's why I stress to you guys here in the Stone Vet is that you guys have to build your community around you. Who are you able to talk to? Who can you pick up the phone and say, I need to talk to somebody, or I got so and so. Let me give them a call real quick. It's just today's just been a shitty ass day. Everything has been going against me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always stress you guys have to build your community around you. You guys have to do that because nobody's going to understand you better than your brother and your sister. You can't go to work and no civilian at your job is going to understand the stupid shit that you're dealing with. Your PTSD is going through the roof. Your anxiety, your depression's kicking in because you got a bill that was late and you don't have the money to pay it or whatever the case may be. You got to have your brother there, your brother, your sister, your battle buddy there to tell you, hey, man, it's going to be okay. What you need? Let me get some money together and we'll help get you. We'll get you a meal. We'll get your family a meal. We'll get that bill paid for you. Let's take care of each other, you know? Which is why we're here, and this is why we're supposed to support each other, man. So with you got out, and then you start LiT Beard Company, right? LiT Beard Company.
Yeah.
How does that go about?
So like many people, right? I went to college for stuff that.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
Has nothing to do with what I do. I went to college to be a grade 6 through 12 English teacher. Has nothing to do with beard oil, right? But no, I started working, like I said, in the veteran community, and then I kind of started working in other industries and stuff like that. And maybe end of 2019, before COVID hit, I was having a conversation with a buddy about beard oil. Kind of starting a beard oil business or whatever. And it was just like, I don't really know anything. I know I like how beard oil feels in my beard and stuff like that, but I'm not sure I know very much about this industry or even how to make beard oil. It just seemed like all these things, when you've never done them before, they seem like they'd be really difficult to learn and stuff. So like I was saying, I started watching YouTube videos. There were some good dudes. This dude, his name is like Dan C. He would do a lot of videos about different types of carrier oils and what was good about them and what was not good about them and how they affect skin and hair and stuff. And I'd start looking at different beard oil businesses and say, what do they do and how do they do it? And just kind of looking, like not looking at things critically, like looking at things to just absorb it. Like, do they have 1 cent? Do they have 500 cents? Like, what was it about beard oils that I liked that I would want to do? And what was it about things that I liked where maybe I didn't exactly like that sort of stuff? I would even go to Walmart and I would just look on the shelf and be like, what kind of oils are here and what's in them and stuff? And so I started going online and reading stuff on Google and watching videos on YouTube. And then I would buy stuff, like different carrier oils and stuff like that. And I would work on trying to build different blends. And then I would give them to my friends. And I'd say, don't, hold back. If you think it sucks, like, tell me it sucks.
Tell me, right? Let me know.
Yeah. Don't hurt my feelings by telling me I'm shitty. I would rather you do that than I get surprised when everybody tells me that it's fucking awesome. And then, I find out, no, it sucks. So I started making samples and I'd give them to my friends. I would use them and stuff like that. Different carrier oils, different carrier oil blends, stuff like that. And people were like, man, I love it. It feels great in my beard. My face feels good. My beard feels good. I don't get all this greasy, oily, like residue. When my wife kisses me, she doesn't talk about like, she pulls her face back, all of a sudden she's just got like, an oil slick on her face. Like, I dig how this feels. So I was like, well, that's great. And so I started then kind of messing around with different fragrances and stuff like that, kind of created some basic stuff. And then
yeah, then I just started building it out. And like I was saying to you, I feel like there's some things that I do differently with LiT Beard Company than other beard oil businesses. So I feel like if you lined up 100 bottles of beard oil, first thing, LiT Beard Company is going to stand out because I wax dip every bottle of beard oil. So just like, you know, a high-end bottle of liquor or something like that, I wax dip it. So it's going to look different. But I do that not only because it looks different. So when you get a bottle, you have to break open the wax, right? So there's a tactile feel to the experience. You'll feel the bottle, right? There's an auditory experience. So under the wax, it's a cork. So when you pop the cork, you get that pop. Yeah. So you get the visual, you get the tactile, you get the auditory, and then you get the olfactory, the smell. So then you open it, and there it is. Like you can start to smell the oil. Like you said, you like Wisco whiskey, so that cherry oak and vanilla and stuff like that. Right. So I wanted the experience of even opening it to be different. But then too, I handwrite notes in all of my orders. So if you place an order, I write a personalized note to you. And so just like when you're in the military and you get mail call, you look forward to getting mail and you would write letters back and forth. And so that human connection, I think, especially during COVID, when everybody is like isolated and quarantined, actually having a connection with somebody again was really important. And in those notes, like you saw, I'll write the song I was listening to when I made your order. And that's music is the universal language. So like I was saying to you, when you're deployed, like what can you really do? You go out on missions or you go and lift weights or you go to the dining facility or whatever. You listen to music, you play video games, you do stuff with your buddies. So music is something that always mattered to me. And so if I write that I was listening to, you know, Metallica, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, man, I love Metallica. Like that makes another connection between you really cool. So the bottles, the oils are unique. The customer experience is great. I don't charge people for shipping. I don't do any of the stuff that people have now just been like, well, if I'm going to order, it's going to take forever and I'm going to pay a bunch of money. And it's, you know, it's not going to be anything different than what I can get. I try to make the experience really unique. And then I donate $1 from every sale to Project Welcome Home Troops. And they help veterans and their families learn like mindfulness and meditation to deal with, you know, the stress and anxiety and stuff like that, the mental health needs that they would have when they come home and they're trying to have a happy and healthy reintegration. It means a lot to me. So every sale, not only is it kick-ass and unique, but I donate $1 to charity as well.
No, absolutely, which is freaking awesome, dude. Like I said, a lot of us as veterans, that's what we always try to do is how can I support my community? How can I help those that are less fortunate than myself? Because I mean, a lot of us, we get out, like I said, a lot of it's financial strain, relationship strain, dude. And you know, whenever you're in hardship, it sucks, dude. It really does suck. And it's like, who can I reach out to? Who can I help? Who can help me right now? I'm in need. I need help right now, you know? And we, like us as veterans, we hate asking for help. We absolutely hate asking for help because we were trained that we're the best and that we don't need to ask for help, that we need to figure it out. We need to do it on our own. But sometimes the problems are just way too big for us. Sometimes the problems are just way too big and we don't know how to deal with it. But that's why I build my community. Like Anthony's part of my community now. I'm gonna reach out to him, say, hey, dude, I got something going on, man. You think you can help with this? You can help with that? Or I know somebody and I send them to Anthony. Hey, Anthony, I think you two would be a good fit. I think you guys could work together and try to collaborate on something or try to help each other out or expand somehow and try to do something. Because this is what it is. I mean, as many veterans that get out of service, I was talking to Brandon Harris. He's another jarhead. He's a transition coach out of Houston. He's like, there's like 200,000 veterans that get out of service every year. That's a lot of freaking veterans that get out of service every year, 200,000 plus. Yep. You know, in the Marine Corps, hell, I think we're only up to like 120,000 serving active duty, you know, right now. And our numbers keep getting smaller and smaller. I mean, at one point, I think we actually got ramped up. We got up to like 165,000, 175,000 or something like that. At one point when OIF kicked off back in 03, 01 through 07, maybe we're up there. We had some big numbers, nowhere near as big as the Army or anybody. But I mean, our numbers had ramped up, but now they're dwindling down because there's no more war. And so like that's one thing we want to do. A lot of us veterans, that's what we try to do, is try to help the nonprofits, or like you for Lit Beer Company, you donate to a nonprofit. I teamed up with Veteran Trash Talk. I got an episode that goes out every Wednesday. They teamed up with Stop Veteran Suicide. You know, I've got Kyle Early over here. He has his own nonprofit called Battle on the Home Front. I got Chad down in Louisiana. He's got Battle 22. I got Eddie out in Georgia. He's in the Albany area out in Georgia. He's got Tackle 22. All great nonprofits that are out there that do, like you said, when you went to the VA there in Wisconsin, and you start explaining like equine therapy and fishing and all this other type of therapy. And like, no, we have brothers and sisters who do outdoor therapy. Like you said, they go fishing, they do equine, they do this, they do that, they do hunting, they do all these other things, because we know as veterans, we've done it. We've been doing it. We said, this helps me, you know?
Yeah, I think, and that's to that point when we were talking earlier about, I think veterans or people that serve in the military are just wired a little bit differently. And I mean that in a complimentary way, that we believe in service to one another and our community and, our country and stuff. And so when we get done, I think some of what gnaws away at us is we still want to feel useful. We still want to have that purpose and that drive, something that, matters to us. Right. And so, maybe you find peace, casting a fly reel. And so you teach another veteran how to tie, just flies, and stuff like that. And you're like, hey, this helps me. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Whatever it might be. Back in the day, it was harder to find, the internet's made everything way more accessible. And then too, like I said, those universities and nonprofits and foundations and stuff like that are studying maybe these kind of like non-tradition for Ambien if you can't sleep. Maybe it's a group that teaches you how to exercise or proper diet or meditation, or it's, hey, this university is looking at, how, marijuana or whatever it might be. There's beginning to be more outlets available for people to find what works for them. And then more people that have experienced those things to help bring you into those communities. So you don't have to sit there and search and fail and, fall on your face 100 times. It can kind of be somebody who's like, hey, I've been where you've been. Let me show you the way, stuff like that. So that's good stuff, man. Absolutely.
Absolutely, brother. It's like I tell you guys here watching the show that come and hang out with me every Friday, when I get to see what other brother I get to bring on the show with me, I don't know your area. I don't know what state you're in. I don't know what resources are there. But this is why I tell you guys to go out and find the resources, because I guarantee you're not the only veteran in that area.
So funny enough that you say that. When I was walking to California, between Wisconsin and California, Milwaukee and Los Angeles, where we ended, my buddy and I, Tom, we only slept outside, 10, 11, 12 times. And so what was happening was, we would come into a community and somebody'd say, please stay in my home, let me feed you, or they'd put us up in a hotel or something. And then they'd say, well, where are you going next? We'd say, oh, we're going to go here, here, and here. Oh, my brother lives there, or my cousin, or my best friend. Let me call ahead and get you, squared away. And what was happening in the veteran side was sometimes these, veteran groups would hear about us. And I remember they were trying to buy a house to turn into kind of like halfway houses, a little bit too, it's not exactly accurate, but it's like, if you're kind of homeless and transitioning into more permanent housing, we want to have somewhere for you to go. And they were struggling to find ways to rally their community to be able to do this. They wanted it to be a drug and alcohol free home. They wanted it to be somewhere where it was temporary, but was more than like a homeless shelter where you're there for a night and then go. And they were really struggling with how to figure this out. And I was like, well, no shit. Like 100 miles down the road, we just met a group that was in the exact same spot you were, but now they're a couple years into their project. They are doing exactly what it is you're trying to do. Here's the person in charge of that. You should call them up and ask them how they did it, how they found funding, which hands they had to shake, so on and so forth. And so very much what you're saying, I didn't know their community. They didn't even know sometimes the community a couple 100 miles down the road. But you could link those people up and really try to give them an opportunity to be successful with one another.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and that's what I do. That's what I do. A lot of you guys already know me. I mean, I got a lot of brothers and sisters that are a part of the Stone Vet group on Facebook, and they'll pitch me ideas of what they're doing or what they want to do or how they do it. Like me, if I don't know it, I know somebody that knows it, that knows how to do it.
Sure.
Recently, I just hooked up two people that are doing the same thing. They want to help those less fortunate that can't help themselves. And I was like,
Yep.
I know somebody you can work with. I know she's doing the exact same. And so I message people together. I always put messages together, say, hey, this guy's doing this. I think they can help you. That's what I do as a Stone Vet. That's what I do as Sergeant G. I mean, that mentality never left me. I got out of the Marine Corps as a sergeant. I took care of people. I took care of my Marines, and I made sure they got all the necessities they needed to survive in this life, to do the job that I'm asking them to do. That's a lot of struggles with a lot of people. It's like, how do I do this? How do I start a beard oil company? What do I need to do to get started in a beard oil company? How do I do this? How do I do that? And that's what I tell people. I say, hey, I don't know, but I know Anthony who got started in a beard oil company.
Sure.
He knows how to do it.
Think about even outside of the business stuff, right? Think about okay, so like you said, you were a sergeant. Okay, I was a sergeant too. You'd hear maybe the best paying job some of these dudes ever had was being deployed in Iraq.
Right.
And they'd be talking about like when they go home on leave, they're going to take this enlistment bonus or this money that they saved up and they're going to go blow this shit on like some $35,000 like new pickup truck or whatever. Like they don't even know like what money is. They just know that they now have more money than they've ever had. And you're like, let me try to teach you how to not be an idiot right now.
How not to blow it. Let's invest it and figure out where it needs to go so you can
and
make
that's
more
why
money.
too. Right. And that's why too, like when we get out of the military, there's people whose job it is to be like, do you know what a VA home loan is? Do you know what your GI Bill can do for you? Do you know these things? And very often we're so focused on wanting to get out of that mindset and that mentality that we're like, yeah, it's fine. Or like you said, we'll be a self-starter. We'll just figure it out on our own. And then we have literally no idea where to start.
What we're doing.
I think it's awesome that you do this. Like I was saying to you before, I think one of the most important things that we can do as veterans is be storytellers and, explain to people what it means to be a vet, not just all the stuff that they see in movies or the kind of the hijacked narrative of what it means to serve in the military because somebody wants to tell everybody else. Like, it's important that we talk about who we are and we connect with one another through these things and our differences. What you're doing is showing people like, yep, here's 100 people that have gone through the same shit you're going through, or here's 100 people that have overcome what you're doing, or here's 100 people that can help you along the way. And so I think it's fantastic, man.
No, absolutely, brother. I mean, because that's what it's about, man. It's about finding out who we have. Because we have, like I said, you found your purpose. You got out. You didn't become a 6th grade freaking English teacher. you're over here creating a great product. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, that's how a lot of us veterans are. We're like, I don't want to work for somebody else. I did that shit when I was on active duty, and I hated that shit. I hated being told what to do, when to do, how to do it. I'm gonna start my own fucking business, and I'm gonna take care of me. And starting your own business ain't easy. That shit ain't easy because you got to get into marketing, you got to get into products, you got to figure out how to sell your product. And it's hard. I mean, I mean, when you first started, it's not a multi-million-dollar business that just started right up, No,
and you have to be willing to basically have no life. Right? I mean, you can't. It's like, say you've got 50 orders in the order queue. Those are 50 people that have given you their money on the promise that you are going to make them what they expect and get it to them as quickly as possible. Now you got your buddies that want to go fishing. And you got your customers that are like, I'm going to come back and keep doing this with you. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you can't do. Just like being in the military, you're going to miss, fun shit. You're going to miss time with your kids. You're going to miss time with your wife. You're going to miss time with your buddies because this is stuff that you want to do. And then to your point too, having to understand marketing or supply chain or even like what's the difference between boosting an ad on Facebook and, Facebook ads, like just these differences, is it okay to try to sell through Instagram? Like I'll give you for instance, Wisco Whiskey. You said you love Wisco Whiskey. Do you know how difficult it is for me to promote Wisco Whiskey Beard Oil through Facebook because it's got the word whiskey in it. And that's like a flagged thing. Or when I say that one of the scents or like things that I like about it, like in another one I have called Bounty Hunter, it's leather, vanilla, and tobacco. And tobacco is a flagged word. And now all of a sudden,
get out of here.
I swear, these ads are getting pulled down and stuff like that. Just learning those ins and outs too. Yeah, it's very difficult, but it's rewarding. And so I know, I love being able to do this and help veterans and stuff like that. But for a long time, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to balance a regular 9 to 5 where you still work for somebody else.
You still have to. Sometimes you still have to because eventually.
While you build this out, it might take 3, 4, 5 years for you to be successful, but you got to grind it out.
You got to grind it out. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest struggle. It's a lot. That's a lot of struggle with a lot of people is not understanding that. Yeah, you want to start a great business. It takes time. It takes time. It takes money to do it. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out who do I got that can help me? Who do I have that can help promote me? Who do I have that can help push me? Who push what I'm doing and push where I'm at? You know what I'm saying? Here with me with the Stone Vet USMC. That's me. I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to get my name out there. I'm getting the episode count up there. I'm getting a lot of brothers and sisters, you amazing guys, to say, yeah, I want to do a show with you. I want to do a show with the Stone Vet. Let me get on there and do a show and let's see where the product goes. Let's see where we can go, you know? And that's the biggest thing, like you said, with the words, with tobacco or whiskey or whatever the hell it is. And you wonder how half the time, like my sponsor, Rafa 180, they do medicinal grade CBD. You put CBD on something, they're going to fucking hit you on it. But yet you pull up Facebook and there's CBD ads all over that fucking thing. You're like, how the fuck does that work?
Funny enough, I had a customer reach out to me, let's say 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I use this app. It's a texting app. So one of the really cool things about LiT Beard Company is if you're a customer, like you get text messages from me.
Yeah.
So I'll send a text message. It's like, hey, just checking in to see how you did your order. You message back. I respond. This is really happening between you and me. This is not an automated push. You and I are talking. Well, I had a customer reach out to me and say, hey, have you ever thought about maybe certain blends like that will help you like with aromatherapy and, stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I've considered doing things with CBD. I've considered doing these things. I am not shitting you. I got a text or I got an email the next day from that text message application provider that said, we can't push this text message to your customer because you said CBD, and CBD and THC in some states are still considered illegal. And so you need to resend this message by taking the CBD part out. And I was like appalled by this. I was appalled that somebody was reading the messages and I was like, it's fucking CBD. You can buy that at the gas station.
No shit.
Like, what are you talking about?
And the CBD, the hemp law is legal. Hemp is actually allowed through. It's law. They signed it. The law, the farm bill, for CBD, which is insane.
I have customers that are like, I love what you do and I love to support you, but you use hemp seed oil in some of your beard oils. And I said, yeah. And they're like, but I get drug tested for work. And I was like, well, it's not pot. It's not, it's not THC. It's not even CBD. It's not even like the CBD oil. And they're like, I can't use your beard oil because of this. Like, there's such a fundamental.
It's the educational piece. That's the educational piece. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to stress to people is understanding the education behind cannabis, the education behind CBD, and knowing what you're doing and how to get it. Because that's like, it's medicine. I said, just like anything the doctor prescribes you, you have to take it for so long before they say, is it working? You need to come back in 2 weeks and tell me, is it working or is it not working for you so we can get you on something else? You know? And like you said, it's hemp seed. It's not even oil that has any, it's just hemp seed oil. It's not CBD, it's not THC. It's just an oil. There's nothing in it. It's just a hemp seed oil. It's like coconut oil, you know what I'm saying? Or JoJo, just like any other oil. There's nothing in it. And it's the education factor because the government has gone through and discriminated against the medicinal benefits of hemp, the medicinal benefits of cannabis. They've put such a downfall on it that a lot of people are uneducated on it and don't understand the medicinal benefits of it. And that's what my job is try to help educate people on it. Like you said, it's hemp seed oil. It's not, there's nothing in it. It's hemp. You're not going to pump for
I
it. You
think
know what I'm saying?
I agree with everything you're saying. And I think people that use pot, you know, in whatever, whether it's edible form, smokable form, you know, some sort of oil that they put on, whatever. I think for years have done a disservice to the usefulness of it, because everybody thinks that if you smoke a joint or something, you suddenly become this useless, like Dorito mowing, like Cheech and Chong-esque, like there's this comedian that I think he's hilarious. And he was talking about smoking pot, and he's like, why do people think that if you're a parent and you smoke pot that this is going to be a problem? Like, all I'm going to do is give my kids like more hugs and tell them I love them more, you know, like I'm not going to suddenly forget that I am their dad or like who's this kid that's walking in. I just think that a lot of times people that have used this stuff, they've allowed the stereotype of like the burned out, like everything is just, I don't do shit, I can't keep a job, I have no value.
And it's true. But I think right now our generation now is actually showing the older generation that is against it and showing some of the younger generation like the medicinal benefits of this. You know what I'm saying? Like me, before I used to go to the gym to work out, I would smoke me a joint just to get my mind right and get my muscles loosened up. So when I get in there, I'm not hurting to go lift weights and go run and stuff like that. And to understand, like I said, with the medicinal, when you start educating yourself on the medicinal benefits and the terpene profiles and the CBD and the CBG and the CBN and the CBDV and all these other CBDs that are within the medicinal plant, you understand, okay, I'm going to lift heavy, so I'm going to hurt tomorrow. What kind of flower that has the good terpene profile makeup will help me not to be as sore come tomorrow? To help with and that's what I think a lot of it is just educating people and having people understand the medicinal benefits. Like you said, a lot of times there's that stereotype of, I smoke a blunt, I'm not going to do shit, I'm going to veg out and fucking eat Doritos. There's strains that will do that to you. There are strains that will do that to you, and it's okay if it's a Saturday night and and everything's done and you want to sit out and veg out and watch a movie like anybody does that gets a glass of wine or has a 6-pack next to them while they watch a movie. What's the difference between you drinking a 6-pack and me smoking a blunt to veg out?
So I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely. I mean, people do it, you know, there's the idea of, I'm going to sit on my couch and I'm going to try to level up in Call of Duty tonight. And I'm just going to get, you know, baked out of my mind or whatever. Go ahead and do that. Just don't get in your car and drive around. Don't, you know, do all this crazy shit. Just stay home and, you know,
just veg out.
It's all correct. It's all good. But then too, there's a lot of people, whether it's because of illnesses that they have, whether that's physical or mental health needs or whatever, they derive a lot of really, really, really good takeaways from using it responsibly. And so I think that the more people that, again, coming back to the storytelling, to where you have to not be afraid to go out and say like, yep, you know, I use this substance or I do this. Here's the benefits that it has for me. And check it out. I have a job. I pay my bills. I pay my taxes. I don't, you know, get arrested. I don't do all these crazy things. I'm a normal, like regular, everyday, you know, productive member of society. I'm not, you know, Cheech and Chong burning out my, you know, whatever. It's not that way. And so I think it's really comes down to the individual user too, to be able to say like, this is the result of me doing this. Like, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely. And that, you know, and that's what that's why I try to stress to everybody, even in the community, is just to educate. That's the biggest thing, is educating yourself and educating and understanding why do you smoke weed? Well, I smoke weed for my anxiety. I smoke weed for my depression. I smoke weed to be more productive in my lifestyle of hanging out with my kids or going and do things around the house, you know. Like I said, there's a time and place where you can just smoke, you a nice indica and just mellow out and chill out after everything's been done. Everybody's, you know, you just want to watch a movie and relax. There's a time and place for it, you know what I'm saying? But there's also that's why you got to understand what strain you smoke and what's the terpene profile, what kind of CBD, what kind of medicinal benefits is this plant going to have? Is this one that I can smoke and actually get work done for the day? or is
Yeah.
this one that's going to freaking mellow me out and I'm not going to let me, is going to just make me go to sleep because I'm tired, you know?
If you're a crane operator or a semi truck driver, don't roll down, the road stoned out of your brain, right?
Right.
Yeah, man, if you're going to chill and go, and you had mentioned before too about like this generation. I think a lot of this stuff we see this generational change, right? No matter what the topic is, whether it's medicinal marijuana or certain lifestyle stuff, whatever it might be, it happens generationally. So what, 18 years ago, maybe more than 50% of Americans said, no, I'm not okay with legal marijuana. And now it's more than half.
Right.
More
than half, yeah.
Okay, it continues to grow and grow and grow. You also see too, where states will literally become little islands where it's like the states around them are legalized or decriminalized, and then they're just a holdout. And you start to ask people about these like invisible boundaries of like, so if I'm on this side of an invisible line, it's okay. And if I'm literally 1 inch on this side of an invisible line, it isn't. There's that like dissonance. Like, I don't understand how this can work. Explain this to me. So I agree with you that I think just generationally and situationally, it's becoming more accepted. Then once they find ways to, the hardest part for me is all these dudes that have these businesses, they can't even like use banks.
Right.
It's
it
like,
sucks. It sucks. Yeah.
So once they figure that stuff out, or they delve a little bit more into the cryptocurrency space and they can find ways to say like, all right, well, we can't, deposit our money this way, but, we can change it into Bitcoin and then cash it out into cash. And now we can put it in the bank. Like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. It's the craziest thing. And that's one of the things that we're hoping that Senate will get their heads out of their butts and say, okay, let's go ahead. Because that is the biggest thing. A lot of these dispensaries are bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars on a weekly basis.
Sure.
Like,
look at, you go to a place in California, they have armed guards.
Mm-hmm.
And like legitimate, like bulletproof vest wearing, Glock on their hip. Like, no, there's too much money in this place and there's too much opportunity for somebody to come in here
and just
jack shit up. So no. Yeah. And it's like, look they've got all these employees that they need to take care of. Why not just do it so they have the opportunity to keep their employees safe?
Right. And it sucks because you're just like, because a lot of them aren't catching any of the tax breaks either with all this COVID stuff and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's one thing that the Senate is trying to figure out how they can how they can make money off of it. I think that's the biggest problem right now is that they're trying to sit back and realize, how can we make money off of this? Like, it's legal in over half the country. Cannabis is legal in over half the country. And how can we capitalize on this to where we can, that's a lot of it is the lobbyist crap. A lot of it is the lobbyist crap where it's left, it's not a left wing, right wing thing. It's the lobbyist saying, hey, this is how we can do it. This is what it's going to do to put more money in your pocket. I hate politicians. And that's the way a lot of this politics is like, how am I going to get more rich off of this? Look at all the freaking senators that have been in there for freaking 40, 50 years. They're all freaking millionaires. And you're just like, how are you getting rich sitting in Congress? Man, Anthony, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me on this Friday, man, trying to just get your name out there. Let people know who you are that don't know who LiT Beard Company is, man. Veteran owned and operated, man. Like I tell you guys, we got to support our own. That's the only people that are going to support ourselves. It's going to support us. It's our own people. It's saying, hey, let me try it out. Let me help it. Hell, if I don't like it, at least I bought something so I can try it out and see if it's any good. And I can give it a good review, man, so other people can try it out themselves and let them know what they think of it, man.
Well, I got to tell you, I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate the effort. And like I said, I think what you're doing is fantastic. Bringing vets and people that are trying to, bring some goodness to the veteran community on your show. Give them a forum to kind of spread the word, but at the same time, like bringing in people from all different walks of life to understand what it means to be a veteran too. I think it's fantastic, man. I wish you nothing but the best.
No, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I appreciate you coming to hang out. I know you're a busy guy. You got LiT Beard going and everything else. You know, like I said, we all got our own lives. We got things going on. We have to take time to carve. We got to carve out time for our brothers and sisters. I know it can be hard and we're just like, fuck. Pick up that phone, dude. You guys are always on it watching YouTube or TikTok or wherever the fuck y'all are watching. hit a text message, hit that text message button and send a text out to your brother and sister. Say, hey man, I'm thinking about you. I want to make sure you're doing okay. A lot of times we'll lie and be like, nah, we good. I'm good. And something, we can only do so much. We can only do so much to help each other out. If they don't want to talk, then they don't want to talk, but make sure you reach back out to them and say, hey brother, how's everything going with you? What's up with you, man? I got some time. Let's talk. You got a minute to talk? Pick up the phone. Let's talk for a minute. I got a minute. I got a window I can talk for right now. Supposed to be taking care of each other, you know what I'm saying, Anthony? You know what it's like, you know how it is. I mean, regardless, you a reservist, you active duty, it don't matter, dude. You still my brother. You signed that fucking dotted line the same as I did and said, I got you 6, Remember, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Always hit that subscribe button, man. Make sure you share this with all your friends, families, brothers, and sisters. Who do you think you can benefit? Finding your purpose again. Anthony found his purpose. He's doing beard oil now. He's doing beard oil, beard products, dude. He's got beard washes, beard balms, you name it. He's in there. He's doing it. And it smells amazing. I tell you what, I got that whiskey in. It smells delicious. I love it. If you guys listen to me on iTunes, give me that 5-star review, man. Make sure you get that algorithm. I don't know this algorithm crap. I'm still trying to learn it myself, man. It's like Anthony said, you got to learn the difference between all this crap in this multimedia platforms that we're on so that we can get seen and get heard, man. You got anything else, Anthony? You good?
All I'd say, man, is, hey, give LiT Beard Co. a shot, litbeardco.com. And as always, stay bearded. Fuck razors.
Hell yeah, fuck razors. I have all of Anthony's description down below, man, how you can reach out to him and how you can get some of his amazing products, man. Remember, guys, here at the Stone Vet, we got you 6.
Chillax, it's Friday. You ain't got a job, we gon' get high today. Dark of the flesh, the deep of the roots, green of the weed. You know it's true. Puff, puff, pass, trying to get high. Got high blood pressure, we coming down. Good smoke, please.